Well, hi, everybody. Steve Tarter, another edition of Tartar Sauce right here in beautiful downtown Peoria. And with me, happy to have an old friend, Alyce Jackson, back from the Peoria Public Library. Programming Director. What's the formal title?
Manager of Programming.
Manager of Programming.
We'll go
see?
with that.
Want to be accurate here. And there's always something happening at Peoria Public Library. And of course, this is just down the street from our studio here on Main Street in Peoria. I'm going to talk about, or we'll talk about a little bit, film noir because I'm involved with it. But that's just one thing that happens at the library. And that's one thing that I think you're very involved with it because you do it so often. But you've got programming at each branch.
Oh, yeah.
For kids, for adults, special events. Let's talk about Peoria Reads first,
Okay.
because that's always a good one, and it's coming up.
Yes. So Peoria Reads is our One City, One Book program. That's the easiest way to explain it. People understand that.
Everyone reads the same book.
Everybody reads the same book. Try to get that. We do have companion books, we call them, for, say, the younger kids. There's some groups that focus more on nonfiction, so we try to have some nonfiction companion books as well.
Oh.
So we had a proclamation in January, started some programming already early February, and we continue programs all the way into April, actually, I believe, this year. But
What's the book?
Oh, I'm sorry, gosh, I didn't even say that. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas.
And what kind of book is that?
It's a fiction. It's a young adult book, actually. Focuses on Star. She witnesses her best friend shot by the police.
Oh, okay, so very timely.
Very timely. It is a very good book. It has some difficult language here and there, some references to hip hop and some other things that I do a book club at Lutheran Hillside Village, and so I had to kind of explain a few things. But it was a very well-received book, even with that age group and with that demographics. So I think anybody can pick it up and read it. It really sparks a lot of discussion, and we have a lot of things.
And that's the idea behind Peoria Reads.
Exactly.
I mean, regardless of the book, it's
Yeah.
to bring it into the open, and let's discuss what
Let's
this is
have
about.
discussions about what this is talking about. Yeah, let's see what this is about and how this relates to us, and just how we can maybe deal with things in our own lives or our own communities or whatnot.
Right.
So we have a lot of things planned around the book. We have some panel discussions. We have a lot of book club discussions. It's also a movie, so we have.
And if somebody wants to, say, get a little more info, obviously you can go to the library, but online, where's a good source for info?
PeoriaReads.com.
Oh, okay.
We have a dedicated website. You can also get all the information on the library's website and the calendar.
I have to tell you, I love that library website because, and I'm probably, I've done it for a few years, but I'm sure it was in operation long before I discovered it. But the idea that you can go there and let's say you've got the New York Times book review section there, and you see an ad for a book. Oh, I got to read that. You just type that in to your, get a library card, so you
Yes,
got all
yes,
that
yes.
stuff. You get in there, type it in, and then you can put that book on hold. Now, you may not get it right away, depending on the book.
Yeah, depending on what it
But
is.
then you get an email that says, by the way, here's your book. It's
Yeah.
down here. Go and get it.
Yeah.
And nothing could be simpler because I think some people might think, well, I don't want to wade through all those books, or I don't like the card catalog. That's been gone for about 40 years. But anyway, that's the thing, the beauty of technology.
Exactly. Yeah, we've tried to make it as simple as possible.
Right.
We
And I'm
want-
talking about books, but there's all kinds of
Yeah,
books.
we want to get the materials into the hands of everyone.
And I don't know if this is your area or not, but I'm jumping around here, but we'll get back to more programs. But Friegel? Friegel, explain that to me.
Oh, goodness. You're putting me on the spot.
It's music, right? You can get music from the library.
Yes,
I
you
bet
can.
there's people watching this or listening to this didn't know that.
Yeah.
They took the records away years ago.
We have multiple ways you can get music and audiobooks and whatnot. We have Canopy, we have Friegel, and we have a new one, RB Digital. So go to the website, go to our.
And there's tutorials and all that.
Yes, exactly. Again, you have to have a library card, a
Right.
Peoria Public Library card.
Yeah.
Well, you know that you can take your Dunlap card, your Chillicothe card, wherever, East Peoria card, and check out books and physical items. But with our databases, any of our e-resources,
You need the Peoria one.
you have to have your Peoria card because it's all based on your Peoria number.
Well, that's just a good reason to get a Peoria.
It is.
I mean, if you don't have a library card at all, get one.
Yes.
because it just gives you access to things that you probably aren't aware of. I wasn't, and I should be, and I'm sure there's young people running around that said, "Yeah, I do that all the time," you know. So,
Yeah,
you know,
it's it. I used to always be just a physical book person, but with having different book clubs and things that I'm in, sometimes it is easy to do that digital download, listen to it in the car. It's not like I don't even have that long of a commute, but to get a few minutes in here or there, or pop my earbuds in and listen to it while I'm doing something else. It does help.
I went through a stage at the library where I checked out a lot of audiobooks, and I think it seems to me the audiobook. And I guess as people run, they can put in earphones or they go to the gym. But for me, it was in the car. If you're driving around and you kind of pick it up. And I know there were times that I'm probably sitting in a driveway or just I got to hear the end of this.
Yes, I've
People,
done
why,
that
why,
too.
why is he still in his car? He's
Yes,
supposed to be in here.
yes.
So there is that. But now, of course, you don't necessarily need that CD.
No.
You can certainly get that, but
Yes.
it's
But
all
you
downloadable.
can do it on your phone, or sometimes people have a Kindle or other types of tablets, things like that they can use to do as well.
And I think that's an area that, and I know Mike Sable, who works right here at Tim Johnson's place here at Peoria Network, Peoria Life Network. He's thinking of podcasts, local podcasts. So it's an area that just sort of and audiobooks, because it's an area it's so growing so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear about all this podcast stuff. I don't know if there's enough time in the day to listen.
To listen to all of them, I know.
Even the ones you want to listen to,
Yeah,
but it's going on.
Yeah.
So you said something to me earlier about League of Women Voters, because this is an election year. What's
yes.
coming up with that?
So I shouldn't say always. In the past, we've done different things where it's kind of an offshoot of our Peoria Reads. So it's kind of a one city, one book, part 2. So this summer, June, Peoria Reads group, as well as League of Women Voters and Historical Society, the museum, I know I'm going to miss somebody else, Dunlap Library, Peoria Library, and then some other just ladies in the community. We are bringing Elaine Weiss, who is the author of The Woman's Hour, and it's all about the women's right to vote and how the whole process.
easy.
And no, it's a nonfiction book that she wrote. She will be coming here to speak
that'd be
June
good.
9th.
At the library?
No, she's actually, two things. We're going to have an event at the museum. It'll be a ticketed event, but a very low price on the ticket, if I remember correctly. So selling books and whatnot, and a little snacks and such. And then also we'll have something at the North Branch. Details are still being put together. But then also we are going to do a march. So the women marched a lot. They wore their sashes and
Right.
they wore their white dresses and
Right.
white hats.
I
So we
can
are
visualize that.
Yeah, so we're going to recreate a march from the museum to Kelleher's,
Oh, yeah.
because then the Peoria Municipal Band will play at Kelleher's afterwards.
Oh,
So
well, that's a great
yeah,
idea. Hopefully the weather's going to be good. Otherwise, we'll see those umbrellas
yes,
probably.
yeah. So-
People getting old dresses and everything ready for this?
We're hoping so. Yeah,
Okay.
the march will just be a small group of people, and it'll
Mm-hmm.
be more of a just kind of a representative type of a thing.
Good photo
see.
op,
Yes, yeah. And then head on down to Kelleher's to watch
I can see it now in the national press. They're still marching for the vote in Peoria. The community just doesn't understand.
Exactly.
But that's great. Well, I think that's very timely because, obviously, getting the vote out, getting the right to vote, that's all in the news right now.
Exactly.
Not so much maybe in Illinois, but all around the
But
country.
yeah, just getting your word out there, making sure your voice is heard. And with it being an election year.
And we forget, I mean, that the women were, trying pretty, and this I'm sure in the book, and she'll talk to this when she's here, but the effort that went on was not something that just they flipped the
No.
switch and, oh, by the way, you ladies can go to the vote now.
Exactly.
You had to battle for it for decades.
And not just,
I said
white
you.
women.
You-
Yeah,
you-
yes.
your
yeah.
people.
White women and then black women as well. I'm listening to the book,
Right.
Downloaded it and listening to it, and the stories that they're telling and the process, it was not easy. And there was that time, just getting everyone equal rights on different things.
I can imagine. Well, I probably can't imagine, but you have to kind of
Yes.
really, I don't know, we don't want to get political here, but in this divisive era that we're in now, I can think, where people are put down
Yes.
rather strongly. If you're not on my team, you're off the team. I see that all the time, and I guess we're all guilty of that. But
Well, and it's interesting. We've worked with a couple groups in the area. Sharon Reed, her sorority sisters, they would like to be a part of the march, and she said they insist on marching at the end of the parade because that's where the black woman would have had to have been, was at the end of the group of women.
oh, I see. Yeah.
And I said, "Oh
gosh,
my
yeah.
goodness, that's very." I think it'll really make a statement. It'll really when you see that physically right there in front of
Very
you.
good. Well, that's just a good example of the many programs that the library either organizes or is a part of, and you really need to kind of pay attention to that because I know I'm in and out sometimes, and I'll see something on the little screen you have in there, or there's a display, and you think, oh, that's it. I'll tell you one of the most effective displays that I think I've ever seen was at the library some years, maybe 2 years ago, a year ago, whatever, but the Japanese internment during World War II. And I know that was a traveling thing that came around the country, but I happened to see it one day. It was in your what's the first floor, lower
Lower level one.
lower level one. That's the only problem I have with the library. This basement, is
Yes.
well, we're going to talk about that with a film noir, but then there's another level, and then
Yes.
you're on the first floor. So,
We have two basements.
basements, yeah. But on that first one, which is a wonderful gallery, and I think you've got things in there now. But that Japanese internment was fascinating because, all the things you never realize. You hear about it, but then they had the individual stories, and it was very poignant.
It
and
was.
it just gave you a lot of good information.
It does. It does. Yes. Right now we have art from ICC students.
Okay.
It's really neat. There's some really neat items in there.
And it's such an easy thing. You just swing through there, and maybe you're doing something else, so you don't have a lot of time. But it's a great sort of resource in Peoria because I know I was at a meeting and somebody was saying, oh, we need another gallery in downtown Peoria, and there is one. It's at the library, downtown
Yeah.
library.
Yeah.
Well, I should probably get a pitch in here for our film noir.
Yes.
We were talking about this. Film noir, March is our film noir month.
Yes.
Our
Hours.
hours. Every Saturday at 2:00, we're going to run a movie at the downtown library, free, of course. And they just tend to be movies that fall into this film noir category. This month, we always try to have a theme. Orson Welles. You can't go too much further in terms of this guy is I think at the top of the line when it comes to film noir. The director, an actor, probably a writer, did radio, does done it all. And also, one of the things that I always like to talk about a little bit, I try to limit it to 5, no more than 10 minutes, because these noir, Wells himself is kind of a noir character because
Yes.
you think we talk about him, we give lavish him with praise, and yet he was kind of an outcast.
Yes.
Hollywood said, hey, go away.
Well, we have to say, I mean, this is your thing. This is your series. This is your baby, kind of a thing,
Yeah.
and it's.
I have a baby, and
I think it's interesting every year when I say, okay, what are you going to do this year, and you send me your topic or your list, and I think, oh yeah, that's spot on.
Well,
But this one really was. Oh wow, neat.
You got to have something that gives you enough movies on it, and I think sometimes a lot of these movies are old movies, and film noir. I'm sure people are going, yeah. We heard this before. They're the older movies, 40s and 50s primarily, but I think we can watch things over,
Yes.
and then sometimes you've seen part of it, but not all of it. And now in this age where they're remastering things, and the beauty of the library is you get you're able to show them free under the kind of licensing that exists, and you see it in a perhaps a condition that you didn't see it before. Because when we first went to VHS, there was a big move to get a lot of films out, and you get it on a disc or a tape. And they weren't the best.
No, the
because
quality was
there's
not.
a little haze and things. And I can watch a movie like that because I can watch just about anything. But some others would have a problem with it. But now when you remaster, not everything is remastered, but a lot of them are. Boy, it's like watching it for the first time.
Right. On the
that's
big
really-
screen.
Oh, yeah.
It's, yeah.
And the library has a nice place there, so, we encourage everyone to do that. We got Lady, I'll run down the list.
Yes.
Lady from Shanghai, these are all Orson Welles films. That's March 7th. Touch of Evil, which will be in a smaller room because 14th is also the bag sale.
Yes, yeah, the
'cause if
Friends
you-
of the Library do their huge book sale that weekend, the 13th and 14th. So we bump film noir over to the smaller
We're
room.
happy to go to support the library. And the thing that people need to know too is if you drop to the basement, the full basement, the second level of whatever, auditorium, and then right across the way is the Friends bookstore, which if you haven't checked that out, is really an asset.
Yes.
Because I know we're talking about books and things people wonder, are they going away and I got too many and I want to give them to them. But it's a great resource
Yeah.
and it's very inexpensive and you'll find things there. It's like a second library.
Yes, it is.
A more general one, but more compact and just all those volunteers do a wonderful job.
Well, they really do.
They're inundated with books.
Yeah. It's amazing all the work that they do.
Boy. Touch of Evil though, is quite a film. That was the one where he's old and gnarled and Orson Welles I'm talking about. March 21st, Citizen Kane. Now, I don't know if Citizen Kane is always going to be classified as film noir. It's often like #1 movie of all time and things like that. But it was such a breakthrough film and it's has elements of film noir. We had to include that.
Yes.
And people aren't going to be shocked to see it.
No, not at all.
And then we close with March 28th is The Third Man, which is the only one of these movies that Wells didn't direct.
Oh.
He plays in it.
Okay.
Carol Reed directed that one. But it's kind of my favorite of that group because, and they're all good movies, because I always use Third Man as an example of when my granddaughter, who's 7 now, watches me watching something and I immediately turn it off because I know it's not going to interest her. She goes, black and white. And there's this aversion among young people, I think, to black and white movies,
Yes,
which
yes.
I understand because it's sort of like old and the world is in a different state. But if you see The Third Man, you see it in the condition that it's in, and it's a wonderful reproduction. They could not make that movie in color.
Okay.
Because it's post-war Vienna, and there's bombed-out buildings in there, and the lighting is amazing, and the black and white is the right media for that. Yeah, and photographers know this. I mean, it's something that you can take a picture of a canyon in color, and then you can take it in black and white, and they're two different effects.
Yes,
and of course it's
definitely.
all over the web and all that. But you got to see Third Man because it's a wonderful movie. Joseph Cotton. There's a number of people in there, and of course one of the things about The Third Man is the music.
Oh.
The theme from The Third Man, you'll know it when you hear it because it's been Herb Alpert did it over and others.
Okay, okay.
So the Third Man theme lived on, and they made it. It was a successful radio show for a number of years. So Orson Welles had a play with that. Anyway, enough about film noir. That's my baby, and I don't want to take up all the time.
Well, no, but it's a lot of fun, and you do a great job with
Well-
introducing and talking about it, and
It's a carryover from the Apollo because
Yes.
I think that was, and I'd like to see the Apollo get back in action too because that's a needed thing, I think, as we get Peoria downtown developed. Either that or we need to just bring the theater right into the downtown library and go start selling.
let's do that. Yeah,
Maybe not sell tickets because I know you can't, but people can throw money into a barrel or something.
there you go.
What would you say is your favorite thing to do in your job? Well, you got all these different things going on. Is there one favorite or is there a season?
Well, summer reading is fun, hectic, crazy. It's hard to say that it would be my favorite because it is frustrating sometimes, but
Right.
it is. But
Gives
it's,
you a lot to do.
But it's good. It's good for the library. It gets us out there. It brings some people back in that maybe aren't there throughout the school year, so to speak. And when we do summer reading, we do it for all ages.
Right.
We don't just do it for the kids. And we have big parties at the end. Last year, we did. We added in, and I can't take credit for it, but we added in a party just for the adults. Because we've done a party at the museum for years now. We have the whole museum just for us,
Wow.
for an evening. Friends of the Library pays for that, so come buy books so that we can do that. But anyway, we've had that party, and we had a little bit of feedback that, it'd be nice to have something more aimed at the adults that participate, because we do have a few adults that come down to the museum party that, maybe would like to see something else. So coworker said, what do you think about doing a party just for the adults? We had it at our North Branch. We had music. We had food trucks. We
Oh,
had
right.
some trivia things. We had some prizes just for them. It was a huge hit. So we said, well,
Got to do it.
let's do it again. So it's a lot of fun to do that.
Well, and that's great. Summer reading, but I know because you'll see it in New York Times and things like that, where they have a special supplement for
Yes.
summer reading, books you should read or popular. And I know that's always been the case. But I would say as we kind of roll out of here, go to whatever branch you want, but there's reading to do all the time, and do it in your own terms.
Yes.
Because the library makes it so easy. Whether it's on a device or a book, the choice is up to you. But the library is accommodating, and we didn't really get to talk about this, but the way you have to juggle all these different technologies, and because it used to be sort of books, records,
Yeah.
and that's it, or magazines and newspapers, but now it's everything. And
Yes, it is everything.
puts a lot on you.
Come see us.
Well, we have to go, Alyce.
Okay.
Alyce Jackson, who's handling all this programming at the Peoria Public Library. Film Noir's coming up, but so is Peoria Reads.
Yes.
And find out about it at your local library. How's that?
Yes, definitely.
again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll see you next time on Tartar Sauce.
PeoriaLife.com